Hey y'all, it's Nancy the Handy Scandy here with Whimsy Stamps. Thanks for joining me today. For me, I have what is a very clean and simple card, though I know that's probably not the definition of clean and simple, but let's just jump on into it. So we are starting out with the products you see on screen, and I'll be adding a few more here and there. But the main feature is the Party Monsters new stamp set, and it is absolutely adorable, and I'm having a hard time deciding which one I want to use. I edited out all of my hemming and hawing because I wanted to use them all, but I also wanted it to be very simple. So we'll just have to see how it goes. So I have it set, and I wanted to make sure that the die is going to fit around it. Now that is the largest of the basic stitched oval dies, and yeah, I just wanted to make sure it was going to fit and that I had plenty of room to do my ink blending. So I first stamp it onto the masking paper, and then I stamp it a couple times onto my card panel. And I want to make sure that I get a nice clean impression, and I also want to make sure that I have time for that ink to dry. So I set this aside and I clean everything up after, making sure everything is still going to work inside that oval, because I always audition my stuff. I may not always show it, but I always audition it to make sure things are going to fit in place. So you saw that I actually stamped out my sentiments in advance, which is very unlike me. And I also stamped out that little bunting. So we'll see how all that turns out. And now, as you can see, I'm just doing some fussy cutting on the masking paper. And when I'm doing this, I'm trying to go like right down the middle of the black line. Because if you go on the outside of it, you're going to have a halo when you do your ink blending, and we typically don't want that. So just going real close along the edges, cutting off the excess. Now you can see that I cut off the balloons. I will go back and I will finish cutting them out, but I don't want the strings. I can ink blend over those strings, no problem, so I'm not going to take the time to cut those out. So I also cut off the hair off the top of the monster's head because it's already stamped on the panel, and so I really don't need to mask that part off. I'll just add a little bit of color to it once we get ready. So I have stamped and fussy cut both parts of the image out. Right now I'm using my die pick because I cannot just pull them apart. I just can't do it. So I have to use a pick, which is a great tool. So I'm thankful for it. So I separate them, and now I'm just laying it down. And again, because I cut on the outside or right through the middle of the line, I want to make sure that I can kind of fit my cutout image within the circle, within the image rather. Obviously balloons are circles, so I hope that makes sense. And so with the little monster, same thing. I cut him out going down the middle of the black line, or as close to the middle as I could. So I want him to fit inside the stamped image. I want the mask to fit inside. And then that way there should be no halos once we're done. So I have to be honest with you, I forgot to hit record again. I got up to get my ink and I forgot to hit record, and I finished making the card completely and didn't record it. So I've gone back and I'm redoing this part. Earlier you could see that I had a bandage on my hand. It was covering this new tattoo. So now this is after the fact. I've cleaned up my hand and taken the bandage off. So we're going to jump back and forth, and you're going to see that difference. So just doing some very, very, very simple ink blending. Oh, I was going to tell you the colors, but I don't have them with me. I think it was Squeezed Lemonade, and then the lighter pink is the Saltwater Taffy, and the darker pink is the Festive Berries. So just doing some very simple ink blending. I put down the yellow, I put down the coral, and then the pink, and now I'm blending out the two pinks, and the pink into the yellow, or the coral into the yellow, and then I come back with my yellow brush and I just blend that out a little bit more too. And this is going to be, I always say down and dirty. It's just very down and dirty. And I'm not really worried about the transitions because it all kind of blends together anyway. And I really just wanted a base before I put this stencil down. Now this Polka Dot Stencil is absolutely adorable. It's called Polka Dot Stencil, one of my favorites. I think I probably say that about all stencils because I love them all. Now on the monster panel you can barely see the polka dots, and it is a very subtle effect, but it's very happy. And so I did the ink blending through the same stencil with the same yellow ink on that other panel. That will be my layering layer. And then that is what I do on the inside. So I take the inky stencil, I spray it with water, and then I lay it down inside the card. Now, unfortunately, I don't have any images of the inside of the card, but because the outside of the card says "from all of us," I felt like it needed more than just this one sweet monster. So I put some more on the inside. So you could see that wonderful magical moment when you lift the masking. That's always a favorite time for me. I don't know why I don't do more masking, because it's really a very very satisfying and kind of rewarding technique. Now a few months ago I did a card with the voodoo dolls, and I did this type of coloring where I'm really just tapping. It's not really pointillism per se, but it's just tapping. It adds a lot of texture, adds a very different effect than when you color with very straight, I guess, smooth lines. And I'm just using 3 different shades of the green. Actually, that's a 4th one right there, just trying to blend out that darker one. And then just bringing up my darker colors and then blending it out with the same tapping motion with my mid-tone, and then again with my lightest, which I didn't show. But I do the same thing on the critter's body. And you can see how, looking at the balloons, how the scary dark just looks like a shadow from the other balloon. I think it's a really great effect, and it's a really easy way to do it. So again, just tapping, 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 putting the darker blues into the places where I want the shadow and the contour and all of those things around all the little spots. And I even put a shadow under his tongue and to the left side of his mouth in the end. And so that's my mid-tone. This is my darkest tone. And just little bits, little bits, because I just want it to look like the shadow. I don't need a whole lot of it. And just tapping, tapping, tapping. And then I'll come back in with the mid-tone again and blend it out. And I do that a couple times until I get it the way that I want it. And remember that this is not the panel that I actually put on the card. This is one that I went back and remade so you could see how I did it, because I didn't have the footage. So the one that's on the card does look a little bit different. It is, the balloons aren't quite as deep in terms of the shadow, and the monster isn't as, this one isn't as well blended on his tummy as the one on the card, but subtle differences, it all works. And I have to tell you guys, I'm loving these Olos. They're really helping me to bring the sweet, sweet critters that Whimsy has. It's helping me to bring them to life. And all of these monsters were absolutely adorable, and I really had a hard time deciding which one to use. I thought about creating a whole scene, but with my hand hurting and just not a lot of stamina, I just decided we were going to go for clean and simple for me. And so there's all my pieces. I have die cut everything out. I die cut the critter with the oval, and then the background with the, what is it called? Sprinkles, Scallops, Rectangles die. And I just think they're really, really cute, but I felt like it needed some kind of a neutral to make them pop. I mean, the way that I did the ink blending around the edge of the oval, it makes it stand out more with a little bit slightly darker pink on the edge, but I just felt it needed a neutral. So in comes the black and white, and I thought that layering these 2 different stripes was really fun. And here I have it all layered together. I did not get the construction on camera, but I had earlier stamped out the sentiments, and I die cut them with the quick strips. You can see it's the stitched oval, and I have them up on some foam tape on the left side of the happy birthday and the right side of the from all of us, and then the part that is on top of the oval panel is just glued straight down. Then of course I have my sweet little bunting that I've colored up, and I've popped it up on some foam tape as well. And you can see that I'm adding the crystal glaze, Nouveau crystal glaze, to lots of different things. And I think in the end it really, really makes it pop. And then of course I've got some, this calls for confetti. You can see them shining there in the light. These are the prism ones. I love the different, the way the light plays on these, and the different colors pop up in when you turn them in the light. There's some yellow and some pink and some purple, and very, very, very cute. Guys, what do you think of this? Is this clean and simple to you, or am I way off base? For me, it's clean and simple because you guys know the kinds of things that I do. But I had so much fun doing this card for Whimsy, and with all the Whimsy products, I'm absolutely in love. Guys, tell me what you think downstairs. I love to talk to you down there. And don't forget, in the meantime, catch us on all of our other social media outlets, Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, all those places, guys. And until then, this is Nancy, the Handy Scandy. Mwah, I'm out.